Helen Yee here with Eyes on the Game in Fight Island, being joined by the one and only Mr. Dan Hooker. Now, in your professional career, you fought all over the world, obviously Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan, the U.S. Where does Fight Island rank?
Oh, it's definitely up there, man. It's part of the territory with fighting, getting to travel and compete. Yeah. I feel like that's like one of the main things that attracted me to it. It was I get to make a living just throwing the bag over my shoulder, traveling to new countries, fighting people, earning money. Like it's a good lifestyle to have. So this is definitely ticking another one off the list. I'm working my way up towards Europe.
Oh, hey, that'd be a nice next destination. I completely agree with you. Now, speaking of Fight Island and having to quarantine for a month afterwards, did your teammates Israel, Brad, or Carlos give you some advice on how to make it go by a little quicker?
Oh, I think everyone goes a little crazy in quarantine. They start putting up some pretty weird posts. I think it just gets stranger and stranger. So I think it'll be all right for the next month because we're not so quarantined. We're still traveling. It's the 2 weeks isolation where you're just stuck in your hotel room that you start going a bit nuts.
Well, do you binge watch on any TV shows or movies?
Yeah. I'm getting through Vikings at the moment. My cornerman, I was watching Vikings. I watched it already. I'm like rewatching it, and he asked me if I was watching Lord of the Rings. The idiot.
Well, I can see where he says that. But looking at your opponent for this weekend, Michael Chandler, what are your expectations going into that fight?
I'm expecting a fast start. Like there's one thing I've noticed going back and watching film on Michael Chandler is that he comes out swinging, he comes out guns blazing. So I'm expecting him to come to me. I'm expecting him to try and take my head off, and I'm expecting by the end of that first 5 minutes, we'll know how that fight's going to play out.
Well, how do you envision it playing out in your mind?
Just keeping it long, keeping him at range, and being able to pick him off, being the taller, longer fighter. You know, I'm pretty used to shorter guys trying to close the distance, get under me and put me on my back. So it'll be pretty obvious. If we're standing at distance, then I'm probably winning. If I'm on my back, then I'm probably losing.
But you've had a couple incredible knockouts throughout your pro MMA career since your debut, March 2009. I mean, knockouts over Ross Pearson, Jim Miller, James Vick, Gilbert Burns. When you kind of reflect on your career, describe what this journey has been like for you and now inching closer towards that title shot.
Yeah, I feel like I'm finding like a new the last two fights have just added a new approach to my game or a new wrinkle to my game, because I was, just a young kid coming in, going to UFC at 24, and I was just hunting those 50K bonuses. That's all I wanted. I wanted to get finishes, get 50K bonuses, and put on exciting fights. But I feel like I've kind of progressed past that a little bit. Now it's about being the best and outskilling these guys instead of just going out there and trying to take them out of one shot.
Looking at that lightweight division, it's such an exciting division. There's always so much going on. Obviously, Khabib, we all saw and heard kind of what he told Dana White. He's just kind of waiting for the outcome of your fight and also Conor versus Dustin. So do you kind of foresee this fight in a way kind of like that number one contender fight? Because I know there's also Charles Oliveira kind of waiting on the outskirts as well.
Yeah, man. If he wants an exciting finish, then it's going to come from one of those two fights. I feel like you can jump the queue with the exciting fight. If anything can happen in this sport, I think it's why we all love it so much. Anything crazy can happen. Main event's a draw. I get a knockout. Like, who knows? You could get thrown right into that title picture. So it's a crazy sport, but I'm just focused on getting the victory and being the better fighter.
Well, do you think that Khabib will return?
Man, it's all up in the air. That's not something I really distract myself with. But I know that something big is going to come after that. After this fight, I can just, you just get a feeling sometimes, and I feel like this is a huge moment in my career.
Maybe Justin Gaethje will be fighting Nate Diaz for his return. If that fight does happen, how do you see it playing out?
That's a great fight. That's a great fight. There's two guys that are going to go out there and get in a war, man. Gaethje comes in, he tries to take your head off, but if there's one guy that can take it, it's Nate Diaz. So I think I'm leaning more towards Nate Diaz. I feel like he's still got it, and he's gunning for that McGregor fight. He's gunning for the lightweight title again. So it's another exciting name that's getting thrown back in the mix.
And lastly, both Conor and Dustin, they fought at 145. You fought at 145 before too. Who do you think that the rematch favors more now that it's at 155?
Well, it's definitely added, durability to Dustin Poirier's game, and I have no idea how he is a big boy. Like he's not the tallest, not the longest, but he's thick like a tree trunk. Like he's thick. I know. Me and Conor about roughly the same. Like we don't walk around that much heavier than the 55 limit. We just naturally come down.
What is it?
I'm not too much. I feel like I'll walk around. I walk around about 170, like in and out of camp. Like people, I think it's just a misconception. People think I'm bigger than, just because I'm tall, people think like I'm bigger than I'm tall and have a big frame. Yeah. People think I'm heavy or something like that. But it's easy for me to make 155. Like it's really not a struggle. I could make it today if it was to all happen. So I feel like I'm not even one of the bigger guys. I feel like Dustin will have the advantage it favors him, this fight being at 55, I think.
And lastly, for all your fans who can't wait to watch your return this weekend, what would you like to tell them?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fast start. I feel like keep your eyes open for that first minute. I think something exciting might happen.